The Kenya Revenue Authority has refused to bear any responsibility for the release of condemned sugar into the market from a warehouse in Thika.
In a report to the National Assembly's committee probing the sugar scandal, the tax collector says its responsibility in the saga was limited to assessing the tax owed, collecting it, and monitoring the movement of sugar from the port to the warehouse. Now, the denial comes after the Kenya Bureau of Standards placed KRA as the last agency that was in contact with the sugar before its mysterious release. Brenda Wanga reports.
Months after the country was rocked with the news of the release of condemned sugar into the local market, the agencies charged with the handling of the sugar from the port to the warehouse for conversion into industrial sugar continue to pass the hot potato from one agency to another.
Kenya Bureau of Standards was part of the multi-agency team, fully executed its mandate.
A month after the Kenya Bureau of Standards threw KRA and NEMA under the bus over the sugar, the KRA is out to absolve itself from blame over the release of the sugar. In a statement to the Departmental Committee on Trade and Cooperatives probing the condemned sugar saga, the taxman says contrary to allegations by KEBS, its role was only threefold: to assess how much tax was due from the importation of the sugar, to collect the said tax, and to support the electronic tracking of the sugar movement from Mombasa to Thika for conversion to industrial sugar. The report further says KRA received 4.3 million shillings as tax on the sugar from Vine Park, the company that eventually won the tender to distill the sugar. KRA also lays out a chronology of events that shows its involvement in the sugar saga from mid-2018, when the 20,000 bags of sugar, each weighing 50 kilograms, was imported into the country from Zimbabwe through Mozambique by Miracle and Sirocco investment companies. According to KRA records, on the 17th of July 2018, KEBS rejected the consignment for non-conformity with Kenyan standards, and as a result, KRA says it couldn't collect tax then. 2 years later, in June 2020, the fate of the sugar was sealed when the Department of Health and KEBS condemned it, with KEBS going a step further to advise that it be destroyed. Shortly after, NEMA advised that destruction be done by biological decomposition. KRA claims in its report that KEBS later asked that the mode of destruction changes to conversion of the sugar to industrial ethanol, a decision that was sanctioned by an advisory from the Attorney General. The company at the center of the release of the sugar, Vine Park, won the tender for the conversion of the sugar in February this year. The sugar was then moved from Mombasa to Thika with electronic tracking in place, a task undertaken by KRA, and deposited at Vineyards Godown before being moved to another warehouse at King's Commodities before it was discovered to have been mysteriously released into the market. The tax agency, however, says while it appended its customs seal on the premises, the seals do not constitute security, but rather are an indication that the goods under the seal were under inquiry. KRA also says it did not in any way interfere with the arrangements that NEMA and KEBS had with the Vine Park Limited regarding the destruction of the sugar. It, however, says that the long time between the condemnation of the sugar and the orders for its destruction may have worked to give those who orchestrated the release of the sugar ample time to arrange and execute their plan. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.